Tech by Tips.
Hello and welcome to another Tech by Tips video. First of all, I want to highlight to the people that have placed requests in the past and they haven't seen their videos yet, especially people that have donated to the channel. I am working on those videos. There are a few videos that I have tried like over 5 times to get going, but I've just had issues with those applications working properly. And I'm kind of figuring out why some of those applications cannot just run in Synology devices because of the kernel that the Synology uses. So I'm gonna have to figure it out in other systems and then I'll release those videos, right? But just know that if I haven't replied to you that it is cancelled, it is still in the queue and I'm working on them. Today's video is going to be about another video request here that comes from Insane Tech. And it says, can you do a video on NzbDAV and how it works on radar sonar with NzbD? It's a dope program. So we're going to be talking about this application that we can find at github.com/nzbdav-dev/nzbdav. And if we see here, it says Usenet streaming with WebDAV server and a NzbD compatible API. It says it's currently on the 8th release, version 0.64. And there are 14 contributors to this application. This application is written mainly in C# and a little bit of TypeScript. And if we come down here, we can see a little bit of details about what this application does, and we even have a demo video. It tells us that basically it's an application that allows you to mount and browse NzbD documents as a virtual file system without having to download them. So it is designed to integrate with other media management tools like Sonar and Radar, and it provides a NzbD compatible API. With it, you can build an infinite Plex or Jellyfin media library that streams directly from your Usenet provider. That's the key here. And uses its maximum speed without using any storage on your own server. So basically, this is a way for us to be able to stream the content that lives in Usenet without having to actually download the files and holding them in our system. And then we can look at the video demo that they have here to get a clue of how it works. So you drop the NzbD file, the application then verifies and it validates that the files are accessible on your Usenet provider, and then it shows it up in here, and then you can actually view the content directly on the application by streaming the content instead of having to download it. Now, straightforward, easy to use, so doesn't look bad. If we scroll up a little bit, we'll see on the getting started section how you can do this with Docker to run it, and we're going to translate this into a Docker Compose file that we can deploy in a Synology NAS. Basically here we only see one folder that is needed, which is for the configuration files for the application. And that's about it. Just a port and a user, and that's it. So it's going to be easy to deploy. We're going to get that going in the NAS in a little bit. Then if you scroll down, they have a comprehensive setup guide. It has screenshots of everything here. If you go to this comprehensive setup guide, it tells you a lot of things like how to do the Docker Compose, how to tune the performance, how to integrate with other applications, and streaming the content that is accessible to you. So you go to this URL, takes you here, and then in here you'll see important things. And I like that they explain here how the application works and when you connect it to other applications. So for example, the request specifically asks for this, Radar, Sonar, and Plex or NzbD. So it says basically the way that this works is that Radar, for example, would send an NzbD to NzbDAV, which behaves as a download client, so it pretends to be NzbD using its fake API to allegedly download the file, but it doesn't actually download it, right? Then NzbDAV mounts that NzbD onto the WebDAV without actually downloading it, and then NzbDAV tells Radar that the download is finished and points to a folder which is a symlink in a location. And then that symlink always points to the remote place in the Usenet server that contains the files, and then you can stream it. And then Radar imports the symlink instead of the actual file into your library. For example, here they say mount media movies, And then Plex is going to read that symlink and it's going to use the rclone mount and then WebDAV stream and Usenet provider, and that's how you get that streaming going. But it means that you also have to set up rclone to make the NZB contents available to your file system by streaming without using any storage. So that's another important thing that we have to take into consideration here. It's not just setting this app up, you need to set up rclone so that Plex can actually read those files from the Usenet provider. They talk about another option here, which is using Streamio. I'm not going to cover that. I don't even know what that is. And then in here it goes into details about what things you need to get this application running. It says obviously you need a Usenet provider and you need indexers. And the indexers, we have already covered that in previous videos with Prowler and connecting Prowler to Sonar and Radar so that then they can look for the NZBs that you need to download. And then it says that an example here of a Docker Compose file to deploy the application. And then after that it says, how do you do the core configuration. So it tells you need to create an admin account. After that you go into the Usenet settings, put your Usenet provider information. Then you need to go into WebDAV settings, and then you need to set a password that you're going to be using for rclone if you're going to do that. And then you're going to enforce read-only. So if you don't check that box, then you can't delete the files. You have to do it manually yourself in the terminal. Then they're talking about the speed tuning. This is an optional thing. It's for you to validate what's the maximum speed that you can use to basically download the files and stream the content. And then after that they talk about the full stack, which is how to do the rclone sidecar. And in here I want to make a very important side note, which is I'm not gonna cover the rclone sidecar, which means I'm not gonna cover the connection of the WebDAV to the other applications for a very particular reason. And that is, if you look here, in order for you to do that, to run the rclone, you need to have DevFuse as a device passed to the container. And this is something that Synology does not let you do. So there is no way for you to do this in a Synology NAS. You would need to run this in some other form of system, like a machine that is running Portainer, for example, and running Docker. There you can do that. Or in a Kubernetes cluster, for example. Things like that. In a Synology device, this will simply not work because Synology forbids you to do this. So that's why I'm not going to cover that. I'm just going to cover the case where you run the application, you configure the basic sections of the application, you pass it an NzB, and then you can watch it directly in the application. Because with a Synology device, you cannot do more than that. But if you're going to go and do this with another system, then you can continue with the rest of the instructions here that tell you about how to integrate the different things here. Basically, you're connecting the application to Sonar and Radar. You're connecting also the mount directories and making sure that it is accessible by other systems. And then you can also do this if you prefer to try the Streamio way. Again, I'm not going to cover that. I don't even know what Streamio is. But basically, the application is pretty straight up. It's just that in a Synology NAS, you're constrained with what you can do. So let's go ahead and deploy this application. For the sake of this video, we're going to go into the Synology NAS and we're going to create the usual folders. We're going to go into the projects, and in projects, we're going to create a folder named NzbDAV. That's where our Docker Compose file is going to live. Then we're going to go into the Docker where we store container data, and we're going to create a folder for NzbDAV. And inside that, we're going to put another folder named config. That's where our configuration is going to live. And that's all that we need when it comes to the folders. Now that we have that, then we can come here and create a new project. We can call it NzbDAV. And then we can look for that path in the Docker projects that we created. And then we're going to put a Docker Compose. I already have that here, so let me copy and paste it. And then we're going to take a look at that. So don't start it, done, NzbDAV, YAML, and here we go. This is all that we're going to need for this. We're going to have the image, which is NzbDAV latest. We're going to name this container NzbDAV. We're going to pass the user ID and group ID for a user that has permission to read and write to these folders. And the time zone in my case is America, New York. And then we're going to pass on the left side the path to that config folder that we created here. So that's this path that we have right there on the left side. And then for the container, it's going to be on /config. And we're going to expose it on port 3000. That is the port that the container is listening on. So we're going to access that container through the IP of the NAS on the port 3000. And we're going to restart this container unless we manually come and stop it in here. So that's all that we need. We can save and build this. And then in my case, it's going to be really fast because I already downloaded the image. So we see exit code 0. We see the flag here letting us know that everything was good. We can go into the containers, NzbDAV, logs, and we should see that it is set up. It says it's healthy. And it says server is running. So now we should be good to go to the IP of the NAS. And then we go on port 3000. We refresh this. And we should get the NzbDAV first page that asks us to create a user account. So in here, I'm going to put admin as the user. The password is going to be password for the sake of the video. And I'm going to create that account. And here we go. Now we have NzbDAV running in our NAS. And we have access to that. But we don't have anything configured yet. If I were to drop an NzB file here, it will not work because I don't have an NzB or a Usenet provider. So I need to go into the settings, and then in Usenet here we need to click on add. We're going to fill out this information for our Usenet provider. So in my case, I use AstroWeb. So I'm going to put the amount of connections that I have, which is 50. I'm going to make sure that I use SSL, and then I'm going to put the different values that are necessary here to get my connection to Usenet working. So in the end, it should look like something like this: usastroweb.com or eu.astroweb.com. Then the port is going to be 563, and then the username here, the password is here, the amount of connections that you have, in my case that's 50, and pull the connections with SSL, and then you can test your connection here, and then it should let you know that everything is good. In my case, since this is incorrect information, it's going to fail, but that's how you test it. And then once you test it, it should save the configuration. Once you save it, it's going to show up in here as an available Usenet provider, and then we can just click on save here to make sure that everything is saved, and then we can continue with any other configuration that we might need. As I said, this application exposes a fake SAB NzbD API. So here's where you can get your API key. Here's where you can configure it. I'm not going to be doing that because, like I said, you can't really do much on the Synology NAS because of the restrictions. So it doesn't make sense for me to configure it, but you can go to the website and follow the instructions there if you're running it in another type of infrastructure. For the WebDAV here, we have the account that we created for this application. Here you can change the password. You can establish the maximum download connections. In this case, it should match your Usenet provider. So I'm going to pump this up to 50. And I'm not going to change much stuff here. I'm just going to save it. The rest seems good to me. Then if you want to connect to Radar and Sonar, this is where you would do that. You would add here, put the API key and the URL for those instances, and then you can change the properties here and how it behaves. In my case, I'm not going to do it like I mentioned before. Here talks about the background repairs. You can work with that, with this if you need it. I'm not going to touch this again. rclone server, this is where you would configure the rclone server that is going to connect to your WebDAV. So this is what you would need to fill out. Again, I'm not going to do that because we cannot do that in a Synology NAS. And in here in maintenance, you can perform several actions like removing orphaned files and converting streams to symlinks and migrating a database to a blob store and all that. But I'm not going to touch that. The important thing is to have a Usenet provider. Now that we have a Usenet provider, we can come here into the queue and history, and in theory, I should be able to grab any NzB from somewhere and dump it in here, and it should be able to recognize it and check if my Usenet provider has that. And for the sake of the video, I'm going to be using an NzB that takes me to this Chinese movie called Panda Plan. It's a Jackie Chan movie that was allegedly released recently in China. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my downloads. I'm going to look for that NZB file and I'm going to drop it in here. And then we'll see that it automatically checked with my Usenet provider. It says it connected 8 connections out of the 50 that I have. It completed successfully and the file is there allegedly. So I should be able to go in here and then we see the video file here. When I click on it, it starts playing, as you can see. Obviously, I don't want to get hit by any copyright problems, but as you can see, you can move forward and it's going to stream directly from Usenet without you having to download the file directly to your computer, which is the point of this application. So as you can see, we have validated that the application does work and it works properly. You can stream your videos directly from Usenet. But if you're using a Synology NAS, unfortunately, the integration with other applications like Radar, Sonar, NzbDAV, and Plex becomes impossible. So you would have to host this application in another type of system. But at least if you just want to be able to come, drop an NZB and watch a file, you can definitely do that with this application in a Synology NAS. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so, hit the bell so you don't miss any notification. Leave me comments in the comment section below because as you can see, a lot of my videos are based on video requests. Also, whenever people are having issues, I try to help them out with the comment section. And you should have noticed there was no ad on my video. That is on purpose because I'm not monetizing the channel, which means that YouTube should have not put an ad on my video, but I also get no money or any benefit from the effort that I put into creating these videos. If you want to support me, there's going to be a link to PayPal in the description box below and also a Bitcoin wallet address if you prefer to do it that way. I shout out to the people that donate to the channel, so be aware of that. If you don't want me to say your name, let me know ahead of time. I can refer to you by another name if you let me know. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.